galleries, I see people of all different cultural backgrounds, all different races, people that have migrated to this country for a better way of life. This nation was founded on the Westminster system of government after it was settled by the English. Yes, we all acknowledge there were other people at the time in this nation. But it's been on the backbone of the, as people say, the colonialists, the convicts, the people who came here. Many came here, dragged here from England and other places against their will. They were the stolen generation as well. Many atrocities have happened over the period of time, and we have not acknowledged that. We can't change it, but we have acknowledged it. Our country has grown with a parliamentary system that was started, the same system in England, with a parliament, with people elected based on their dedication, passion, those people wanting to make changes for the betterment of this country.
What do you think about this debate? Is this about accountability or political priorities? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Those opportunities have been afforded to anyone, whether it be people born here, migrants, refugees, and even the Indigenous Australian. To say that they've never had a voice is truly untrue. It's not the truth. We have Indigenous people sitting in this Parliament based on their ability and their dedication, hold their seats in this place with pride, representing not only their own cultural background and trying to represent them, but for all Australians. The same as I do. My cultural background may be of English-Irish, but my responsibility in this place is to all Australians, regardless of race, colour, creed. To raise issues, as Senator Pocock has, and saying a lot of these questions haven't been answered, you know, you've got problems out there. You know, this comes from a senator that on many occasions to do with legislation hasn't consulted with the people, hasn't consulted with businesses, has just supported legislation. And yet he dares to question the fact that there was consultation that went on. It never did. At Uluru, it never did. It was a bunch of academics that went out there. The Aboriginals that I have visited in some of these communities haven't even been consulted. They have no idea what's going on. And I'm sure Senator Price will back me up with this. You know, when we talk about the problems, billions and billions of dollars have been thrown at it over the years. I've spoken about it since I first came to Parliament in 1996. The money has not got to where it has needed to go. You've had your bodies, you've got over 3,200 Aboriginal corporations and bodies. You've got a department that's set up under the previous government, the NIAA, $4.5 billion a year. You handed out over $1 billion in grants in 1 year to 1,500. You got all the other government departments handing out $11.5 billion in grants. Where has the money gone? That's the question you need to ask yourselves. Where has the money gone? Who have you put in charge of it? Is the fox in charge of the hen house? And yet you turn around and you want to blame everyone else who is not Aboriginal Indigenous in this nation for the faults that maybe you should look in your own backyard and question yourselves. Why hasn't things changed? You know, you talk about the stolen generation. Yes, it did happen at the time. Ask yourself why. A lot of these children would not have survived if they were not taken away from their families. And that's the truth of the matter. And some Indigenous have even admitted that.
Pauline Hanson didn't just give a speech. She completely flipped the narrative. While many in Parliament keep pushing the voice as a solution, Hanson stepped in and asked one simple question. If billions have already been spent, where are the results? And that's exactly what this moment exposes. On one side, you hear constant claims that Indigenous Australians have never had a voice. But on the other side, the reality is, there are already Indigenous representatives in Parliament, systems already in place, and yet the problems haven't disappeared. In fact, many would argue they haven't improved at all. And then comes the most explosive part. The money. Billions of dollars. Not once, not twice. Year after year, thousands of organizations, government departments, endless grants and funding. But what's the outcome? The same communities still struggling, the same issues still unresolved, the same questions still unanswered. So again, where did the money go? And that's where everything starts to fall apart. Because when it's time to give real answers, there aren't any, just slogans, just emotional appeals, just political talking points. Hanson didn't just criticize, she exposed the gap between promises and reality. She questioned the so-called consultation. She challenged the idea that this system is actually working. She pointed directly at the ground-level issues politicians avoid talking about. And that's what makes this so uncomfortable. Because the real problems aren't being debated loudly enough. Abuse, neglect, broken systems inside communities. These are serious issues, but instead of fixing them, the focus shifts to creating another political structure. The voice to Parliament. As if adding another layer of bureaucracy will suddenly solve decades of failure. That's why this moment is hitting so hard. Because it forces one unavoidable question. If billions have already been spent, if systems are already in place, if representation already exists, then what exactly is this new voice going to change? Or is it just another distraction? Now it's your turn. Is this a real solution or just more politics? Because this is where the entire debate becomes uncomfortable. If billions have already been spent, if departments, programs, and organizations already exist, and if representation is already inside Parliament, then the question becomes very direct. What exactly is missing? Hanson's point cuts through the emotion and goes straight to accountability. She is not just challenging the idea of the voice, she is questioning the effectiveness of everything already done in its name. And when she asks where the money has gone, it's not a small claim. It's about massive public funding over decades with very little visible change on the ground. That's why this moment stands out. It shifts the debate from symbolic politics to real outcomes. Because at the end of the day, people don't judge policies by speeches. They judge them by results. And that's the question still hanging in the air. Where are the results?